She insisted I was her child's father that day and for the upcoming weeks and months. What could I do though? What could I say?
Marcus Matthews is a Memphis author with a shocking story to tell. It's the story of a happy-go-lucky teenager who got a dramatic dose of reality when a young woman he dated claimed that he was the father of her child. After a DNA test proved that he was not the father, Matthews decided to write about the experience in a new book titled, I Am Not the Father. Marcus Matthews is live with us this morning to tell us all about it. And thank you, Marcus, for stopping by this morning.
Thank you.
Tell me about this incident. How did it happen and when?
Well, I was actually a senior in high school here in Memphis, attending Westside High, and met a young lady. We dated over the phone, had an intimate relationship, and she told me she was pregnant. From there, we had a paternity test after the child was born, and the child was not mine, according to the DNA.
This must have been a real stressful situation on you.
It was certainly stressful. I mean, being 17 years old, I was a senior in high school, preparing for college, and I was not planning to be a father at that time. So it was definitely stressful. I was trying to figure out how I would deal with the situation. It was daily stress.
And so the DNA test proved that you were not the father, correct?
Correct.
What was the mother's reaction to all of this?
Well, actually, the young lady died in a tragic accident before the paternity test where the results were given out. After the test was taken, but before we got the results. So unfortunately, she was never able to address the situation. And that's part of the reason why I wrote the book, so that people understand the seriousness of these issues, because now you have a young child who not only has a mother who's deceased, but maybe they don't know who the father of their child is now. So it can be very serious.
Yeah, sad situation all the way around. Now, your book, I Am Not the Father, it not only chronicles your experience, but other experiences from dads or accused dads. Tell us about that.
Yes, actually, I didn't have to look far for these people. These are all guys who I grew up with, guys that I've known personally for years. And I just called them up and said, hey, I'm going to tell this story. How do you feel about me including your story? And they cooperated and volunteered to be a part of the project, because it's a conversation that really needs to be held with our families in the community.
So were their experiences as cut and dried as yours? The DNA test exonerate them or what?
Yeah, they were all exonerated by DNA tests. And actually, the numbers are startling. Nationally, the rate for false paternity is 17%, but here in Memphis, it's 72% of the cases that go to juvenile court are, the men are not the father.
So you were saying that there are a number of men here in this city who have been accused of false paternity, have gone through the juvenile court system, and so what is the situation for a lot of these guys?
Well, if they have signed a birth certificate, then there's a definite legal process that sometimes is difficult to get away from. In the case of married men, it doesn't matter if the child is yours or not biologically. But if you don't sign the papers, you go and get the test. The issue is usually emotional, because all of the guys in the book, including myself, were emotionally attached in those situations. So that's, to me, the biggest thing.
So what has been the reaction to your book?
It has been all across the board. I've had people who say, I'm glad you're telling the story, continue to do so. I've had people to say things like, you should have wore a condom, you know.
Yeah.
But if they read the book, they find out in my case I did, and in another case, this gentleman wore a condom and the condom actually burst. So, I mean, the people I'm getting all kind of reactions, mostly positive, and I'm glad about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, and also, I know we have just a few seconds left, but this book is now being considered for a movie. Tell us about that real quick.
Yeah, I've actually, it only dropped in August, released in August, and I've been approached about a stage play. I've been approached about doing a documentary, and here recently about developing into a movie, and I should talk to some people next week and see how that works out.
Well, we wish you a lot of success on your plans for a movie and also on your book. Now, if you'd like to learn more about Marcus and his writings, just go to his website, and that's marcuslmatthews.com, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you for being here, Marcus.
Thank you.
All right, well, stay tuned. More news, weather, and sports are just ahead this morning on Action News 5 Weekend.